Now CNN's Sanjay Gupta on assignment for 60 Minutes.
Take a moment and remember your favorite teacher. Now imagine that teacher could reach not 30 kids in a classroom, but millions of students all over the world. That's exactly what Sal Khan is doing on his website, Khan Academy. With digital lessons and simple exercises, he's determined to transform how we learn at every level. One of his most famous pupils, Bill Gates, says Khan, this teacher to the world, is giving us all a glimpse of the future of education. 35-year-old Sal Khan may look like a bicycle messenger, but with 3 degrees from MIT and an MBA from Harvard, his errand is intensely intellectual. He settles in to do what he's done thousands of times before.
We've talked a lot now about the demand curve and consumer surplus. Now let's think about the supply curve.
He's recording a 10-minute economics lesson. It's so simple. All you hear is his voice, and all you see is his colorful sketches on a digital blackboard.
In this video, we're going to talk about the law of demand.
When Khan finishes the lecture, he uploads it to his website, where it joins the more than 3,000 other lessons he's done. In just a couple of years, he's gone from having a few hundred pupils to more than 4 million every month.
Has it sunk in to you that you are probably the most watched teacher in the world now?
Yeah, I try not to say things like that to myself. You don't want to think about it too much because it can, I think, paralyze you a little bit.
So if we get rid of the percent sign, we move the decimal over.
He's amassed a library of math lectures,
12 plus 4 is 16.
starting with basic addition and building all the way through advanced calculus.
We're taking the limit as delta x approaches 0. It's the exact same thing.
But he's not just a math whiz. He has this uncanny ability to break down even the most complicated subjects, including physics, biology, astronomy, history, medicine.
Let's talk about one of the most important biological processes.
Sal Khan has tackled so many subjects that if you watched just one of his lectures a day, it would take over 8 years to cover it all.
Huge timescales.
Magnetic north is kind of the geographic location.
And then let's say that this is the point x is equal to basic introduction. Light. If this does not blow your mind, you have no emotion. And let me get my trusty calculator out.
I'm 95% of the time working through that problem real time, or I'm thinking it through myself if I'm explaining something. And to see that it is actually sometimes a messy process, that it isn't always this clean process where you just know the answer. I think that's what people like, the kind of humanity there.
It all started in 2004, when Sal Khan was working as a hedge fund analyst in Boston, and his cousin Nadia, a 7th grader in New Orleans, was struggling with algebra. He agreed to tutor her remotely and wound up posting lessons on YouTube. They helped Nadia, but then an odd thing happened. Total strangers started using them too.
I started getting feedback like, my child has dyslexia and this is the only thing that's getting into him. I got letters from people saying, we're praying for you and your family. That's pretty heady stuff. People don't say that type of stuff to a hedge fund analyst normally.
So in 2009, Khan quit his job and, working from a desk set up in his closet, devoted himself full-time to Khan Academy. It's a non-profit with a simple but audacious mission: to provide a free world-class education for anyone, anywhere. If that goal sounds far-fetched for a guy working in his closet, consider what happened next.
There's a website that I've just been using with my kids recently called Khan Academy, K-H-A-N. Just one guy doing some unbelievable 15-minute tutorials.
I was like, those videos for Nadia, not Bill Gates. I have to take a second look at some of this stuff.
That's right. Bill Gates, one of the smartest and richest men in the world, was using Sal Khan's free videos to teach his own kids.
2 weeks later, I got a call from Larry Cohen, who's Bill Gates' chief of staff, and he says, you might have heard, Bill's a fan. I'm like shaking. I'm like, yeah, I heard, and he's like, if you have time, I'd love to fly you up to Seattle. And then I was looking at my calendar right then, and for the month, it's completely blank. I was like, yeah, I think I could, fly in, between like laundry and a bath. I can just and meet with Bill.
That was just 2 years ago. Today, with the help of more than $15 million in funding, much of it from the Gates Foundation and Google, Khan has been able to hire, with competitive salaries, some of the most talented engineers and designers in the country. We visited a class in the Los Altos School District outside San Francisco, where the new Khan Academy software is being piloted.
Grab your computer, log in, and then open Khan Academy.
Right away, you notice something different. There are no textbooks and no teacher lecturing at the blackboard. Instead, students watch Khan videos at home the night before to learn a concept. Then they come to class the next day and do problem sets called modules to make sure they understand. If they get stuck, they can get one-on-one help from the teacher. Less lecturing, more interaction. What you think of as homework, you do at school. And schoolwork, you do at home. It's called flipping the classroom. And 7th grader Laureen Forget says using Khan Academy at home has given her math a big boost.
I'm not a big fan of textbooks. I thought that Khan Academy was a lot easier because it's on a screen, it's easy to find the concept you want to do.
And now with the videos, do you find yourself rewinding it, playing it again if you need to?
A lot, yeah.
You do that at home?
Yeah, usually when I watch a video, it's because I'm having trouble on the practices. So if I don't understand the video, I can always rewind it or pause it so that I can go back to the module and do what I learned.
What's the hardest part about learning this way?
I don't really think there's a hard part.
This summer. In the meantime, Chief Operating Officer Shantanu Sinha says they're gathering massive amounts of data, not just from American classrooms, but from every Khan Academy user around the world.
So you could say how many problems were done over the last 24 hours? How many was it?
Right now, in the last 24 hours, we had close to 1.8 million.
Wow. Not total, but just one day.
Just in a 24-hour period.
And when you take a look at total users over the last 18 months,
41 million visits from the United States. We can look, from India. We had 1.7 million, Australia 1.4 million.
Right. It is pretty amazing to think that millions of people all over the world are using Khan Academy right now.
Yeah, it's a gold mine on how to understand, what paths through learning are most effective.
Khan says they look at all that data and constantly make changes to their software platform.
We can start fine-tuning things the way that Amazon might fine-tune their button to help you buy that book or find the book that you want, or Netflix says, what's the right movie for you? We now get to do with education.
Eric Schmidt, the pioneering chairman of Google, says he's seen a lot of failed attempts to integrate technology into education, but says what Sal Khan is doing is different.
Many people think they're doing something new, but they're not really changing the approach. Which with Saul, he said, what we're going to do is not only are we going to make these interesting 10-minute videos, but we're going to measure whether it works or not.
He was the guy to sort of make this happen? Why do you think it was him and not some person who was an educator or who had a background in this area?
Innovation never comes from the established institutions. It's always a graduate student or a crazy person or somebody with a great vision. Saul is that person in education, in my view. He built a platform. If that platform works, that platform could completely change education in America.
How successful Khan Academy gets, Sal Khan promises he'll never put a price tag on it.
The for-profits have to mold themselves much more to the education establishment than we do. As a not-for-profit, we're just like, what's our mission? To educate children as well as possible. I've said it enough times, and it's in our mission statement, a free world-class education for anyone, anywhere.